Well, it looks like the rapture didn't happen today. Could you imagine that? Can you imagine that? The South African pastor, Mr. Joshua Malika, I guess that's how you say it. There's too many consonants in a row, which just never makes any sense. And no one ever knows how to pronounce. You can't put that many consonants together in one time because some of them are silent. I mean, that just goes as a whole for everything. Like silent, hey, let's throw an H in here. Let's throw a Z and a bunch of other shit in a row. No, not having it. Yep, so that's it. He said that it was going to occur today because he's an idiot. He's a charlatan. He's a fraud. He's a deceiver. He's someone who can't read. He's someone who can't read because if he could have just read Matthew 24:36, no one knows about that day or hour, not even the angels in heaven, nor the Son, but only the Father. Or how about Matthew 24:42? Therefore keep watch, because you do not know the day on which the Lord will come. But the moron, Mr. Joshua, too many consonants, Malika, completely ignored that altogether and said that he knew when the rapture was because he's special, and I'm sure he says that he talks to angels and he goes up into the throne room of God and all that other nonsense. But he's actually just a fraud, so he needs to be shamed for the rest of his days. The pulpit needs to be taken away from him, the microphone. He only needs to be allowed to sit in the pews of church and listen to someone that can rightfully handle God's word and listen to sound biblical teaching and preaching. But of course, he'll probably say, oh, I just thought it was this day, and it's actually this day, and he'll continue to spin his web of lies. But when you hear of this man, of what he is saying, just shame him to his grave until he repents and asks for forgiveness for being a false prophet, a false teacher, a false Christ, and a liar. End of rant. Communication ended right there. All right. Now we'll move into, now that we're here, and we'll get into the gist of what I'm going to be discussing today. All sorts of things. I have some weird news stories. And, there's some people in front of me right now with some leaf blowers. They got the leaf blower pack on the back with the giant nozzle blower, which kind of looks like a cannon. And just always looks super cool. Like it should be shooting missiles or fire or something like that. This is a very fun work toy, in my opinion. So, Sylvester Stallone is just very upset. He's very upset that he's aging. He's very upset that he can no longer play Rambo. He's having a hard time letting go. Because they are making a Rambo prequel, John Rambo. But Sylvester Stallone didn't want to say goodbye to Rambo. He actually pitched, okay? He pitched this to a bunch of studios that he wanted to play John Rambo, an 18-year-old John Rambo, in a prequel to Rambo about a teenage Rambo, and then have AI de-age him. And he said, everyone thought I was crazy. And he said, AI is sophisticated enough to go through Saigon to see him at 18-year-olds and basically use the same image. So it's not a big stretch, he said. So there is, I guess there's a new John Rambo coming out. Directed by Jalmari Helander. From a script by Roy. Roy is kind of a weird name, isn't it? It's got Rory. Roy. Haynes. Roy. All right, maybe it's not that weird. Roy Haynes. And Sohrab Nashavani. God, these names, man. I like it when people they have weird names and then they just change it to like Jim Smith. Like Sohrab Nashavarani, just Tim Jim. That's what his name should be. He should have just changed his name to Tim Jim and destroyed his family legacy for simplicity. Yeah, so Stallone is aware, but he's not involved at all. So and then Stallone, this is all thing. He cautioned anyone taking on the role during his podcast. You remember this is what Jack Nicholson did. You know, when Heath Ledger died, he said, someone asked him about it, and he was like, I tried to warn him. You know, it's like they don't want someone to outdo their performance. So Stallone cautioned anyone taking on the role during a podcast appearance. It's very, very hard. He may do a stellar job, but you're overcoming this because I went through that with Get Carter. Everyone loves the original. And then you're always fighting that prejudice, he explained. I didn't even know that there was an original of Get Carter. I don't think Get Carter is a very good example. Rambo is something that is just totally in the lexicon and zeitgeist of the earth. But Get Carter is not, in my personal opinion. So the prequel's plot, it's under wraps, but it will explore the origin story of the young John Rambo during Vietnam. And, Stallone, he played it in... I've been watching... This is interesting because I've been watching the Rambos with my son. We've watched 1 and 2. We're going to watch 3. I don't know about the 4 and 5. It just progressively gets more insanely violent. So, I don't know if I'm going to watch 4 or 5 with him yet. He's 13, but the way he kills people in 4 and 5 is just insane. Just so much blood. He kills like an entire army in the 4th one. He's got one of those spinning machine gun things, like a revolving, whatever they're called, and he's on a truck. He just cuts people in half. Lots of blood. People exploding. The huge. And then 5 is just insane. Spoiler alert. I'm going to spoil this right now. I'm giving you a heads up because I am going to mention it. It's so insane that the final boss, the final bad guy of the 5th one, he shoots him with arrows and pins him to a barn wall in a barn, like a barn door with his arrows. Jabs his knife into him, cuts open his chest cavity and pulls his heart out and shows him his heart. And then he goes to a rocking chair and rocks. And slowly rocks. And apparently he was supposed to stop rocking and die, but Sylvester Stallone couldn't handle that because I'm sure he wanted to come out and make a 6th one, especially after not being able to play a teenager. And so he had CGI edit in that he was still rocking so he could still live because he got stabbed and punched a bunch and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know. That's just, it's too much. Just pulling out shish kebab, ha mani, maha shabu, like Temple at Doom, like Indiana Jones type stuff. But even worse. So yeah, the prequel is in Thailand. That's where it'll be. And so you can look forward to that. But just imagine, he can, He just hates getting old. The poor guy can't accept it. But it just reminded me of a real life example of a meme that is currently going on. So I guess it's called boomer slop. I don't know. Like, I'm not in the 4chans. I'm not on the Reddits. I'm not like in that, and that looks like what the screenshot is from. I had a friend send it to me. So boomer slop in 1970, which, I guess they're saying that this is a screenshot of Luke Skywalker. Young random kid with no experience or anything of any real value to offer, real value to offer, beats all other experienced pilots in main bombing run that secures the big victory. I guess Star Wars. Boomer slop in 2025. Over the hill, washed up pilot comes out of retirement to outdo all the young pilots and beat them in accomplishing the bombing run that secures the big victory. I guess, and then they say boomers have main character syndrome. Well, I guess that's true, and it seeps into reality where Sylvester Stallone wants to play a teenager. I can't get over it. I can't even, so what would he be doing? He just wants the image to be him then? So he would wear, I guess, a green suit? A green bodysuit, like how they do for, Marvel movies when people are playing aliens and rock people and all that other nonsense. And that he would do, film it like that, and then they would put in his body. I mean, I guess in reality, it could have been done, but it would just be insane. People would be like, why are we watching a computer animated, why aren't we watching a real person? I guess it works when you do that when you're in space, because space is so dumb that you just are like, well, you don't realize it. Your conscious probably is like, oh, this is cool, but your subconscious knows how dumb space is, so it's allowing you to believe it for sure. For sure. So there was some a baby raccoon that was dubbed Otis Campbell after the town drunk on the Andy Griffith Show was rescued from certain death by a nurse in Whitesburg, Kentucky. I mean, Whitesburg, Kentucky? Really? How have people not latched onto this and had it changed to Allcolorsburg, Kentucky? I mean, it's on the chopping block for sure. People have their sights set on Whitesburg, let me tell you. That's just a hunch from, existing on this earth currently. So in Whitesburg, Kentucky, I mean, down south and everything, whoa, wow, can't even believe it hasn't been changed. All right, in early September, Misty Combs, she works at the county health department, right next door to Kentucky Miss Moonshine. She and her coworkers noticed a raccoon running through the parking lot, then heard commotion in a nearby dumpster. The Moonshine Company had put some fermented peaches in the dumpster. And one of the baby raccoons had gotten in, and the mother raccoon was frantic. Interesting. So, just so many people are just, I don't know, so ignorant about animals, or they just want to be. They just don't think that, that they don't have personalities, that they don't have fears, that they don't love, or anything like that. But the mother raccoon was frantic because the babies got hammered. And so they rescued one of the babies with a shovel. And guess what? It ran over to its mom. And then they cuddled. Come on. I mean, that is incredibly adorable. And but the other one was face down in the water at the bottom of the container. Got so hammered, just passed out in the water. So this nurse, Combs, pulled it out by its tail, gave it chest compressions. I mean, this is a woman filled with compassion and love, giving chest compressions to a little raccoon when so many people would probably just laugh and be like, look at this raccoon. It's face down in a puddle of water and dead. Which is just a sad reality. And the animal started breathing again. So then the Fish and Wildlife officials transported the drunk baby to a local vet for sobering up. And then it was released back to its mother the following day. That is an incredible story. That is a story about human compassion and love and caring for innocence. The innocence of raccoons. The mom couldn't give the baby raccoon chest compressions. Doesn't have opposable thumbs. But they saved it. They saved that raccoon that day. Good old Otis Campbell. Beautiful. Beautiful and heartwarming. All right, this one, not so much. This next story is just, it's a Darwin Award. I've talked about the Darwin Awards before on this show. Usually they make me giggle sometimes because it's just like, what are you doing? But this one is actually, it's the same thing. It's so dumb, but it's also just very disturbing that these two people would do this. Okay. Sean O'Donnell, he's 46. He lived in Harris County, Texas. Him and a buddy of his, okay? Aaron Pratt. So Sean's 46, Aaron is 34. All right, so Sean was charged with murder in late August. When deputies responded on August 17th to Sean's home, they found Aaron, 34, with a gunshot wound to his head. He died from his injuries. So authorities first believed his death was a suicide, but then said things weren't adding up. So allegedly, Sean and Aaron were taking turns shooting each other in the head with a rifle while wearing a Kevlar helmet. Yeah, they were drunk. But dude, they were drunk. This is a 46-year-old man and a 34-year-old man. And the 46-year-old shot the 34-year-old in the head. He was wearing a Kevlar helmet, and he died. Probably because they were using the same helmet and doing it back and forth over and over again. It weakens the helmet. I mean, dude, talk about Darwin Awards. Darwin Awards. Unbelievable, man. What a wild thing. What a wild thing. And then there's someone with, that has some serious issues, but people are letting it be because, I guess because he's 18. I guess if he was older, if he was in his late 20s, maybe early 20s, people would still kind of like let this behavior slide. But at 18, I guess you could do it. Now, if it was like 46-year-old man doing this, then yeah, I mean, the authorities would be involved. The police would probably put a stop to it right away. But in Greenville, South Carolina, Spider-Man. Yeah, that's right. Spider-Man is on the job. There's an 18-year-old who fills his downtime with picking up litter dressed as Spider-Man, meeting fans, and listening to his police scanner. That's right. Lately, though, he's been busy. Recently, he saved two people stuck on a waterfall at Falls Park. And he saw one of them almost slip and fall, and he jumped over some rocks to get over there. And then they grabbed my wrist, and I pulled them up. So the friendly downtown Spider-Man explained, "My intentions is to help the people of Greenville, protect and honestly spread kindness along the way." So at 18, you're cool. Even my age, at 42, I put on a Spider-Man outfit. you know, just slightly chubby. It's slightly ill-fitting. And I am picking up litter, listening to a police scanner, and running across rocks and say, like, people, the police are putting a kibosh on that. They are stopping that for sure. And they're just going to be like, listen, we understand what you're trying to do, but also you're creeping everyone out. Like, everyone is deeply concerned. We need you to stay away from the parks. We need you to stay away from the children. We're just really creeped out, to be honest. So we're gonna have to stop this. Yep. Hell of a day. I mean, the Rapture would be great. Could you imagine not having to pay your bills? That would be sweet. That'd be sweet. And all the other nonsense that's going on. Pfft. I bet that dude, he got so many people's hopes up. And all they had to do was, like, read the Bible, read like 2 sentences, and then they'd go, oh, well, obviously this guy is a liar. And that's that. That's that. This is the 23rd of September. We are still here, still going strong, and I will be back tomorrow. This is the Austin Anderson Show. Subscribe to your streaming service. I think I'm up to 12 subscribers on YouTube. I mean, I'm basically on fire. All right. Basically, can't be stopped. Basically, Miley Cyrus right now. Can't be stopped. Can't stop me. Whatever her song is. And, yeah. So, double digits. The sky is the limit. I mean, how high can one go? Infinity. All right, we'll be back tomorrow. I will be back tomorrow. You will be back. Listen, and when I say we, I sound insane. Like I have multiple personalities. I assure you I do not.